Welcome to the MS&Me Radio Network. The broadcast shows are for informational and entertainment purposes only. They are not designed to provide listeners with specific personal, medical, or counseling advice. Individuals with a medical issue should always consult their healthcare provider. MS&Me is not responsible for content of individual shows. The views expressed by show hosts or their guests are their own. Enjoy the show.
Hi there. Welcome to the 57th episode of A Couple Takes on MS. Hi, this is Dan Digman.
And hi, it's me, Jennifer Digman.
And welcome to our show, and we'll give a little insight quickly on A Couple Takes on MS. I have multiple sclerosis. I've got relapsing remitting MS, and my lovely wife, Jennifer, of 13 years.
I also have multiple sclerosis. Mine has developed into secondary progressive MS, and I've been living with the disease 21 years. How about yourself,
I've
Dan?
been living with the disease for 19 years, and I have relapsing remitting MS.
And, oh yeah, I forgot to say, I'm in a wheelchair. I have not been able to walk for 16 years. And yeah, I'm a little sore about that, but only way we can go is up, hopefully, so.
Exactly. And what we're talking about today, and we truly went with MS Unscripted, MS as real as it gets. And I think really when we do our show for like the last 56 episodes, we have talking points scripted out, what we're going to talk about, and truly we're talking about anger and frustration because Jennifer made the point. She says we should do the radio show right now because truly we were hangry, crabby, ornery, snotty, just hating just things because there was a lot of stress. There's a lot to do.
Well, keep in mind it's 9:30 at night. Okay, quarter after 9.
Quarter after 9, but
we had
still.
a pizza delivered because we were hungry at 7:30. We had this pizza sitting on our counter for the last hour and 45 minutes, and we did not have a chance to eat it.
Because we were busy. We had things to do.
And we always have things to do, it seems. And I'm sure a lot of you listeners out there feel the same way. It's not that we couldn't stop and eat. It was just that we were putting priorities in front of ourselves. And thus, we get hangry, and now you get to listen to us and talk about MS being as real as it can get.
It is. It's something that, we wanted to push on to get the work done that we needed to do. And it's like things always seem like, oh, just one more minute, just one more thing, we can get this done, and then it just totally opens Pandora's box of like, oh, and this isn't done. Oh, wait, we didn't think about this. We didn't think about that. Oh, we should do this.
As soon as we finished, we were thinking, oh, let's do this now. And we don't stop and take a moment for ourselves.
And what is that? Where does that become a problem then? I mean, when you're dealing with multiple sclerosis, and I mean, we just want to, everybody listening is just that. How do you deal with that, and when do you let your disease take priority?
I don't know if it's necessarily your disease taking priority, but in our case, we are putting everything else in front of our own hunger, our own, I'm going to be weak, you are going to be weak, we're both going to be crabby. I haven't taken my baclofen.
Did I give you a baclofen?
No, because
okay.
we were recording
you keep
our
talking.
show.
I'm getting Jennifer a baclofen.
But we're putting our own health a little behind the other things, and I'm sure you're doing the same thing, or I hope you're not doing the same thing, but if you are, join the club. But right now it's holidays. We're a couple weeks before Christmas. Last night we stayed up entirely too late, Dan. I'm sure you'll agree. We stayed up late because we were
watching TV.
Watching TV because we had a Christmas shop.
Well,
and we love our family and we love the people
totally
we're buying
family.
gifts for.
But that was the big thing, is like we were going to get our Christmas shopping and bless. And here's the thing, whether you're doing Christmas shopping, whether you're doing any shopping, whatever you're doing, don't put the pressure on yourself to go to the stores. Don't we did all of our shopping for all of our nieces and nephews back in Iowa. We live in Michigan, but we did all of that shopping online. And we have no paid advertising, but through Amazon. I mean, just boom, we did that. Had everything shipped, and this is where take the help where you can get it, because it didn't make any sense for us to buy we did this for years, but we would go shopping at the stores here in Michigan, bring everything home, wrap it, and then pay the money to ship everything back to Iowa to my family, our family. And
yes, thank you, our family.
It is our family, but it's just like, just how then, just making more sense. Hello, Sister Dawn. My sister named Dawn. She's not a religious sister to speak of, but that we would send things back to Iowa, and Dawn loves wrapping presents, and so thereby then she takes care of it. So we were able to ship everything directly to her and take care of it. And just how, just like is that a hack or just a tip, a way to get, just to put, better time. So granted, we got done with our shopping in about an hour and a half, but then by the time it took to make dinner, clean up the dishes, do whatever, it was probably 10:30 before we could even think about going to bed.
Exactly. And we, again, we're taking care of our family, and because using the hack, like you said, shopping over the internet, it was easier. But then today I'm being social and I'm playing around on Facebook, and I read some post about how shopping on Amazon or shopping online is ruining small businesses.
True.
And it's leading to the downfall of big box stores. And that's where, I have to think like, oh, I feel really sorry, because we had a business here in town that they were knocking down because it went out of business. And that gave me pause. I'm like, really, could we not go to those stores and shop? But at the same time, Dan and I are two people, and yes, we're like pebbles or pieces of sand, all together. It makes a dynamic impact, but we're two people who are shopping online to save our health, to save our time, our energy, to conserve what we have. And so I'm not going to spiral and feel bad that I'm leading to the destruction of stores in town. I'm helping the economy, and I'm helping my husband. God knows my nieces and nephew are going to be happy that they're getting Christmas gifts that they wanted, and that they'll know that we're not like, exhausting ourselves, and so this is a tirade. I'm ranting. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, that's what when we're unscripted, but I think it is just those things that you have to wrestle with when you're dealing with and living with multiple sclerosis, and how do you channel that? I mean, just think how crabby we'd be if we actually had gone to the store. I think we made it was evident last night as we're shopping, and the difference between, and I'm not saying gender per se, but
no.
Husband, wife, whereas like we see one gift, oh, let's get another gift. I see one thing, I'm like, yeah, let's get that. And you're just like, no, let's keep looking. Where it's just like, I'm saying,
there might be something
there might be
better.
something else, but I'm just like, nope, this works. And so we're conserving our energy by shopping.
And we're also conserving emotionally, because had we gone out to the store, it would have been a little taxing for both of us physically. You may have gotten like, Jennifer, I do not want to walk around and look for more things. This is perfect. And we may have gotten into a little squabble or something. And last night, we're shopping. We have that moment where you look at me like, no, this is good. And I realized, yes, you are correct. You've worked all day. You're tired. I'm tired. We're trying to do this. Let's just get it done. And I think those are the moments with multiple sclerosis when you have to make consolations, or you have to, I don't know if consolation's the right word. You just have to make
Concession.
concessions. I think that's a good word.
And I think that's the question. We're as we talked about, one of the things we were doing is like to talk about caregiving. That's one of the things we were working on, was another project dealing with caregiving and multiple sclerosis. So I guess that's the question then, as we're talking As Real as It Gets and Unscripted and what we're dealing with. How do you draw the line? I mean, when we hit that point 10 minutes ago, when you said we should do a show when we're crabby, obviously, and it's just like, where did you draw the line? How did you know? And how did I know? Because you were ready to rip into me. I was ready to rip into you. I mean, just to, and not on a personal level, but just like let the guard down. I mean, if that, how do we know when it's just like, okay, this is just a situation, and we just need to
Eat,
rein
stop.
it in, just stop and do. I mean, and how
I
do you
think
know?
at the core, it's always, we're standing. Well, you're standing, I'm sitting, and we're both frustrated. And I think we have, as caregivers, we always need to look at each other and say, yes, I'm frustrated. And you can say, yes, you're frustrated. But I'm not angry at you. You're not angry at me. We're frustrated by the situation. And maybe that's a caregiving hack that we need to remember is, let's just be more mad at multiple sclerosis than at our caregivers. You're just frustrated because, we're typing. And let's be honest, Dan, I don't type anymore. I use pretty much all voice activated software. But you're typing and your hands are maybe not being as cooperative as they would be at 9 o'clock in the morning. So that's a little frustrating. Well, that's I don't want to blame the MS, but your MS plays a big part in your hands being a little more clumsy. And so you're a little frustrated about that. You're not frustrated that you have to type and that the work is what's frustrating you. No, it's the disease.
Is that, and honestly, how do we make those decisions, or how do we recognize or deal with that? And I'm not just being a jerk. And then I guess it asks the question too, then it's just like, how, and this could be just totally bad, but we're unscripted. I'm just asking questions. I mean, when is it acceptable to use MS as the scapegoat for things?
I think it's acceptable when...
Always.
I don't think any of us living with MS want to use MS as a scapegoat. I mean, that's the disease we're living with, that we constantly have. And if you use it as a scapegoat every day of your life, you're probably going to frustrate your spouse or your partner or your caregiver, and B, you're going to frustrate yourself. So I think we use it, if you want to call it, as a scapegoat when things are just too much.
And I think that's where we all, and I don't say that. I just think it's like it's easy to do, but I think we always are looking at things to
Get better.
to get better and explain why something doesn't go right. And I think, do we? Is it? It's easy to blame the MS, where it's just like.
Well, I think a distinction can quickly be made. It's one thing if I blame the MS, if I say, I'm too tired and I can't do this. But if someone like a parent or if you or my caregiver says, oh, you can't do that because of your MS, and I'm like, that feels almost insulting and patronizing. And I'm like, no, take that, watch me do it. I hope that, that's a little bit of pride where, yes, I'm living with the disease and maybe I can't do things the way I used to, but meet me where I am right now and I'll do them. So when MS gets to be a scapegoat, when I just can't muster enough energy to do what I need to do.
And just to where I think for us it's not the go-to excuse, because I don't think either one of us use it as an excuse until it's the reason.
Yeah, I mean it has to be worth blaming the MS. You know what I mean? Like it has to be a pretty monumental thing. I mean, we're talking in a radio show, and in 15 minutes, we're not talking about being hangry. We're talking through the disease, and we're realizing that maybe that frustration of our pizza sitting on the counter for an hour and a half really is not the worst thing ever. When I'm laying on the floor
after you fell.
Yeah, if I'm not hurt, that's pretty bad. But when I'm laying on the floor and I am hurt, that's when I could maybe use my MS as an excuse. Like it has to be worthy of earning my saying, yeah, this is caused by the MS.
I think, and these are realities, and this is what we have. And I think we were at church on Sunday, and when a fellow parishioner came up to say, "Hey Dan, hey Jennifer, the rear tire on your passenger side is low." A normal situation in a normal life for somebody would be, okay, well then Jennifer, after church, we'll go to the gas station and I'll fill it up.
Yes.
Easy. Done. However, it's winter, and I think the temperature was below freezing. It was like 28 degrees.
Yeah.
My hands are nothing. My hands are always numb, and when it's cold in the winter, I don't have the dexterity to take the little spigot off of the tire and to the little knob, the knob. But I don't have the dexterity to do that, and because of the MS, and that's not saying, oh, I don't want to fill up the tire, I'm lazy. It's like I truly do not have the fine skills to do that.
That's a really good example.
Only to irritate and expedite and further problem. And granted, that was a good lesson learned that I need to wear gloves when it's 28 degrees. However, when you're wearing gloves, you don't have the dexterity to do that either. So I can't take the gloves off to do it. So then
Monday morning,
you take it to the garage, the oil change place. They take care of it.
And they do it for free in like about 5 minutes. The amount of time that it would have taken you, no offense, to unscrew the cap.
No offense taken.
They put air in all 4 tires. They checked it. So yeah, I think that's a really good example. Like the MS kind of made it so we couldn't do that.
And I think it's after living with it for as long as we have that you start to realize and recognize. When we watch football, we watch the football game and you see Tom Brady, my boy Tom,
Your boy Tom.
my boy Tom, but as he drops back, and you've commented several times that he just like up and throws just a low thing to the ground to the
Just a turkey to the
just
ground.
just to the ground in front of him, and it's like he's got the experience now to see that there's nobody open long range down the field, nothing, and you risk either getting an intentional grounding call or throwing an interception to try and throw it away down the field, whereas he's just like, you know what, nope, there's nothing there, I'm just going to throw it because I have a running back right there, he's not open, but I'll throw it to the ground, nobody gets it. But it's like, boom, it's done. I think that's where he's got the experience to know nothing's there, I'm done, I'm just out.
And that's you with your multiple sclerosis, or me with my multiple sclerosis, which doesn't mean that someone who was diagnosed 6 months ago or a year ago doesn't know their limits and know when to blame the MS. I'm not, but that is a really good example. Your brain is working overtime.
I'm on fire. Well, it's because,
You're in an apex, as you like
totally
to say.
at an apex, but no, I think. But it's just like that's where those of us living with multiple sclerosis, I would call us if we're seasoned veterans.
Jinx.
But that we've done this trial and error. So I think anybody who's listening who's newly diagnosed, this stuff, it's like always be patient with yourself, because this stuff doesn't just happen overnight. You don't understand it.
And be patient with your caregivers, or be patient with your family. It isn't easy for you, but imagine what it's like for them. Like as Dan is typing, I just want to scream for him. But, I have to be patient. He needs to do this. And when it gets too much or when he needs help, he's going to ask. But in my head, I'm like, oh, just stop. We don't have to do this now, but really we did.
But and which then you is it because you're somebody who lives with the disease, or because you know me? But it's like you realizing that at that point you're going to cause more harm and just frustration, like the fuse. If you'd say, Dan, why don't you just stop? Why don't you just stop?
Because you can't, and because you don't want to. And you're right, yeah, light the fuse, where Dan's like, oh, Jennifer, that's not a good idea, or, don't you think I want to stop?
You say that so kindly.
Yeah, well, that's probably not exactly how it would be. But, I don't ever want to get the impression like this is unscripted, as real as it gets. When we talk, we're always real. But I think today, we were hangry and we were a little just dismayed by the situation. And we want to remind ourselves and remind everyone out there that multiple sclerosis is a frustrating disease. It gets us all.
And that's where we're always real. We always do. But I mean, it's just like it's almost like we're going on a constructive kind of rant. I mean, it's just like because we weren't ready to spell out things and where we're going with this. It's just like we're just saying, how does this happen? Where do we go from here?
But I think you say a constructive rant. And I think that's really good, because we didn't know where we were going. And it's kind of like an MS attack or a flare-up. You don't know what it's going to do to you, but the reality is you'll get through it. You have to, and like this show, we didn't know where we were going to go. It's kind of free-flowing. But we're at the we're getting through it, and we're making some good realizations about ourselves. That you need to stop, you need to pause, you need to think of, yourself, putting your health first as much as possible. And like you always say, sometimes you just have to put your head down, stick your head down, and go.
And I think that's what it is. It's like, as far as the unscripted, it's like, well, just where does it go and what are we doing? Because these are just the realities. You don't have to, a lot of times in life, especially living with the disease, you don't have the time to script it out and say, this is going to be what I'm doing. It's just like, this is what's happening today. How do you get through it? And I think it's just asking you and asking everybody out there, how do you get through it? How do you maintain? And I think it is just sticking your head down and going, but also taking the time to pause and just say, where am I at? What am I going to do?
And you need to, as we've said over and over again, I don't want to, say this ad nauseum, but you need to have faith in yourself. The idea of, oh, let's record a radio show, unscripted, now how the heck are we going to do this? But we did it. We had faith that there were some good points that we needed to share. And we would love to hear you out there tell us what gets you through when you're having one of these days. How do you stop? How do you not explode at your caregivers or your spouses or your children? Or do you, and then you...
And when you regret it and you're all apologetic later
and then you carry on. But how can you live your best life taking care of yourself in spite of the fact that you have multiple sclerosis? Or, you know what I'm saying? It's just really important to, as you always say, stick your head down and go.
and it's and sometimes it is just taking a step back and just even thinking or even talking about it, because obviously we both had a bite of pizza before we did this, so but I think sometimes it's just like, give yourself the time and recognize that and just stop,
Breathe,
then stick your head down and go. This has been Dan and Jennifer Digman on A Couple Takes on MS. Thanks for tuning in. Check us out on our website at danandjenniferdigman.com and on Twitter at danjendig. And thanks to Blue Draft Kid for composing that theme music to our song, or our program. And thanks to MS&Me Radio Network for having us along. Take care.